time to say good morning and welcome to Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch for our weekly City Hall updates. Mayor, is it hot enough for you, Mayor?
Indeed, but it's July, It happens every year.
It's true. And there are plenty of places to cool off throughout the city, for sure. Libraries,
Indeed.
Kennedy Center.
Beaches.
Yep, there's the beaches, of course, and they are mostly open. A couple of small ones are shut down, but Walston's wide open.
Yep.
And many events taking place, too, on the beaches this year, for sure.
27 miles of shoreline. There's plenty of places to take a dip.
Interestingly, the 88th Quincy Bay Race Week regatta is coming up this weekend. I am just astounded that has been lasting for so long and still so very popular. It's a great event.
It is a great event. It brings all the yacht clubs together in a great way. It's pretty exciting. Good stuff.
Yeah, if folks can check that out, QuincyBayRaceWeek.com. Mayor, I was hoping we could talk this morning a little bit about an announcement last week regarding the joint 911 dispatch center plan between Quincy and Milton.
Sure. Well, as you well know, and the people of Quincy well know, we've just finished building a state-of-the-art public safety headquarters, including beautiful state-of-the-art dispatch center. And the state has been encouraging more regional approach to dispatch because some of the communities, the call numbers aren't that high, and both for efficiency and the state likes to see the regional stuff. They do, and I get it. And there are a lot of communities that don't have the resources necessarily either. So the state helps to fund some of these operations. The chief Mark Kennedy approached me about it months ago. They wrote a grant about it, and so we're going through that next phase. The state helps cover the cost of it, and I think it's something worthwhile. I know that this probably wouldn't be the last one. There might be one more added to it, but we want to walk before we can run. So it's a very unique process, and it's professionalizing the whole operation. Not that our call takers aren't professional, but there's certain certifications and tests and so forth now that come with this as well. So I think it'll make us a more professional operation overall. Obviously meeting the demands of the residents with the 911 calls, but there's some serious training involved in it, and looking forward to that. And we can help out our neighboring communities. Why not? So I think it's a good thing.
So this was an $8 million state grant that was awarded. What will that actually pay for?
I think that's over time, Joe, too. I don't think that's immediate.
Okay.
I think that helps to fund the infrastructure needed. I mean, we certainly have the basics in there, with the new station, but this would help us run the lines necessary from obviously connecting the Milton and Quincy operations and provide some of the equipment inside. Obviously, it's a new station, but this would require an additional 2 stations. So it would fund all of that. Again, the state encourages this. The state's finding the money to do it. So it's not on the backs of the taxpayers of Quincy. It's an efficiency created that will benefit both Milton and Quincy.
Okay, and so it's a new department, civilian department, that's being created for this center. Is that right?
Yeah, so there'd be a division, still be overseen by the police and fire chiefs, but the person would be appointed by the mayor, and the person's sole responsibility would be for the operations of the dispatch center, the every aspect of it. And we'd like to, as part of this, bring that person on sooner than later and have that person oversee the changes necessary, the training necessary, the investments of the infrastructure to make sure we get everything right. Both chiefs have a lot of responsibility in a lot of different areas. So we felt it was time. A lot of the major cities have a separate operation for this purpose. So I think this puts us in line with those types of major cities.
So this is basically creating a new city department, is that right?
I would call it a division, but
okay.
you could call it a department. A few more people in it. One person is going to oversee the whole operation rather than having, somebody from the police, somebody from the fire, somebody from this or that. You have one person responsible overseeing the whole operation. Again, meeting the standards set by the state, particularly with all the training that's going to be required.
So this new director would be responsible for hiring the employees in that new division?
Well, they'd be responsible for putting together the hiring. At the end of the day, the mayor of the city is still the hiring authority.
Okay.
But they would put the process together by which they'd be chosen.
Okay. And then, so the grant would cover for the cost of that entire department or division? Essentially,
yes.
Does this need to be approved by the unions, the police and fire unions?
That is something that we will not. Yes, it's something that any work changes would have to be approved. So, getting into the specific changes and training and so forth, that would be the approval necessary. Not the idea, but the impact, and they call it impact bargaining. So, it impacts that it has an effect on. We bargain that. So that will happen. Not only police and fire, but also the Quincy Public Employees Union. Some of the clerical and dispatch positions fall under that.
Mm-hmm. So how are the 911 calls handled right now, Mayor? How does that actually work?
I don't know specifically. Okay. Obviously, you get calls when we have call takers, and then in the center there's dispatchers, and the dispatchers are the ones that operate. Now, right now, the fire department listens in on their system at Central Firehouse, and based on what they hear, they dispatch an engine directly.
Right.
Obviously, if it's a fire or if it's a medical, essentially those two items, they send somebody. So, this eventually would eliminate all that. It would just be that one center, immediate dispatch of whatever is needed, whether it's fire equipment, whether it's a Brewster ambulance. Brewster also would be part of this central location. I think at the end of the day, Joe, we're going to save time and response time. We're going to be far more efficient at it, and that's a good thing for those people out there calling in need.
And so would Milton be paying Quincy to use this center, or how would that?
Yeah, Milton would contribute toward the cost of the Milton aspect of it, yes. Okay.
And then what if once the grant runs out, then what happens?
Well, I think it's something that the state would then look at again.
I see.
This is more or less to get us started, but there are also grants to help us pay for it going forward.
Okay.
One step at a time.
Yeah. So what's the timeline now? What's the next step, I guess?
It's probably going to take about a year to get all this instituted before we're taking calls from Milton, but I'd defer to the chief on that.
Okay, sure. And does this put folks out of work that are doing this job now, or
no? Those people that are there would have first shot at these positions.
I see.
Yep.
Okay, very interesting.
It is interesting.
Yeah.
Yes.
Also, Mayor, I wanted to talk a little bit about a presentation you made not too long ago to the president of the Quincy Quarry and Granite Workers Museum, the keys to their new old granite house.
Yes, it's kind of a cool story.
It really
First of all, let me say Al Beener is quite a guy.
Yes.
And as you know, he has a lot of passion for the history of the granite industry in the city. And he's had some help from Tom Bonomi and some friends who are loyal to him getting it done. But, he's operated out of there, turning the Lions Turning Mill up there in West Quincy by the Granite Links Golf Course for a number of years. He scrapes money together for the sheds, and, we help with community-based preservation funding. But, somebody going up to a site, I think it ought to be a little bit more than that. So when the whole issue of the Granite House on Willard Street in West Quincy, owned by the McDonald family, who own the Common Market, made a decision they're going to build on that site, which is ongoing now. The question was, what do they do with that? So we reached out to Greg, and he agreed, Greg McDonald, to donate the house to use as the Granite Museum, actually. So the company we hired, they numbered every block and reused it. It's not the exact same shape, but I think it's much nicer looking shape building. It's a little longer than the other building and not as high, but all the building is made entirely of the granite blocks that came from that old house. So I think it's a great story in that regard. Now inside, it's got electricity, it's got plumbing, and has a restroom in it. and it allow Al and his team to do little lectures in there and be able to house things inside the building that otherwise you wouldn't want, maybe in the shed, as well as some stuff that's outside. So it adds a whole new dimension to the site, and it fits beautifully. Rather than a wooden shed, you got a beautiful granite structure made for that purpose. I think it fits nicely.
Yeah, it's a fantastic story. This started with an idea that Al had, and has really morphed into now a complete facility dedicated to the city's rich granite industry, literally housed within Quincy Granite.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean, you got by there 20 years ago. The site was just overgrown.
Yeah.
You know, people that may have driven by maybe stopped and take a quick peek, but now he's assembled all these artifacts and tools and things we use at the various woodsheds. So it's really a good take now, and I give all the credit to Al.
Yeah.
I do want to thank Kenny McIsaac, a Quincy local carpenter, and John Fulsham, a Quincy local business owner who builds. Between the two of them, they built the place. John handled the granite aspect of it, and Kenny did all the woodwork part of it. So both of them love Quincy, and both of them enjoy our history. So it was a labor of love for them as well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's well worth the take. I highly encourage folks to visit it and talk.
And of course, thank the Community Preservation Committee for their foresight.
Yes, it wouldn't have happened for sure. It's about over $900,000, I think, to help make this happen.
Correct. Yeah.
Excellent. And Mayor, a tall ship is coming to the city.
What's the name of it, Joe?
It's the Oosterschelde.
That was pretty good.
You like that?
That was all right.
It's a Dutch tall ship visiting Marina Bay.
Yes, it's going to bring a little excitement to the marina, which is awesome. We're excited about it. Bring some bodies down there, hopefully increase, the folks down there to use the restaurants. And it's a great spot. It's a great spot for the tall ship, obviously, to be. And we couldn't get too big a one because of the draft. That comes in there wasn't deep enough for one of the real big ones. But nonetheless, it's a handsome ship, and we're glad to have it, and we welcome.
Yeah, it arrives Thursday. It'll be open for tours Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So folks should check it out.
Indeed.
Yeah. Always great to talk to you, Mayor. Appreciate your time.
Same here, Joe. Stay well.
Yep, you too. Bye-bye. Quincy Mayor Thomas Koch, our weekly City Hall update here on AM Quincy.